Okay. In the previous class, we have seen the list, how list is being gets operated, what are the different aspects of the list, and how the lists are being operated, and what are the slicing factor of the list, and everything has been seen in the previous class. Today, we would like to discuss something about very important points, pretty much important, super important points which we have to discuss for today. So, first point we'd like to consider as replacing an element in the list. So far, so forth, we have taken some kind of explanation in terms of Python variables or Python strings or any other kinds of variables here. Everything, everything is so immutable. Everything is immutable in terms of all other data types what we have studied over there. How could you say that is immutable here in the sense? Once you have to create any object, let me show you how this could be happen here. So A will be equal to 10 and B will be equal to 20. For example, ID of A will be gives you one particular address, and similarly ID of B will be taken some other address. If I would change the value of A or B either, I don't know why. You have to check your internet connection. Mr. 517, you please check your internet connection. Why is my internet connection is very good enough. So it's very much good enough. So you please check it out. Okay, if I would change any kind of value, so that's what I'm telling, man. So my internet connection is okay. I am good at my internet connection and everything is good. Okay, you please check out yourself and whether it is properly available with you or not. Okay, so I could not do my internet connection is very good, so it is too strengthy. Okay, however, if I would take, so here A will be occupied at this particular location and B will be gets occupied at this particular location. If I would change the value of A, the value could not be in the same location because it is immutable. Once you have to create any kind of value, that value cannot be changed. For example, A will be equal to A plus some 4. Okay, so it has been changed to 14. Now, ID of A will be, it gives you some other location, but not in the same location. So that is the point you need to understand. That is called as immutable. Once you have created this particular object as 10, one location as 10, that particular location cannot be changed. 10 will be always processed with this particular location. And the 20 will be always processed by this particular location. Variable is not matters here, the location is matters. Okay, and so 00480 has always processed the value of 10 here. If I would change the value of A, and it could not be changed the value within this location could not be changed anymore. So it could be taken some other location 00544. It has been taken some other location. If I would change the value of A from 10 to 14, let us take a particular thing here. What is the value of A here? Right now it is 14. It has been taken in this particular location. So therefore, we would like to consider, we would like to specify that any variable, any scalar variable, all scalar variables are immutable. They could not be changed. If I would take one more variable, so let us consider C will be equal to 10, for example. So C, before going to allocate PVM, Python virtual machine, I could not do anything, man. Don't give this such kind of messages because my internet connection is very good. My internet connection is very good. So it's very good. It's very strengthy. So I have been running with very good internet connection. Okay. Okay. However, if I would like to take the C will be equal to 10. So then before going to assign this value, this location for this particular C, PVM, Python virtual machine will be always look into the memory for where exactly the value, the 10 value has been occupied previously or not. If it is occupied previously, immediately that address is going to assign to C. Otherwise, it will be create new object will be have this particular value and can be assigned that particular location to C here. Let us examine what could be happen here. Okay, C will be having the value as 10. 10 is already there with this particular location here. So that is 00480. Now let us take the ID of C. ID of C will be the same location where exactly A has been assigned previously. So therefore, you need to understand one specific point here. The point will be always so any variable, any scalar variable or fundamental data type kind of variable will be taken into consideration. Those variables are immutable. You could not change the value. Once you have created one value, that location value cannot be changed. Where in terms of this list is mutable. Yes, you can change the values. You can change the values and you can perform, you may be insert the new values to the list or insert in the sense append the new values to the list or insert the new values to the list, and you can remove, you could able to remove the values from the list and you can replace the values on the list. You can perform all these values, all these operations. Let me show you how this could be. Okay, for example, some y will be equal to, for example, it is a list which does have some 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. For example, these are the values which are available with us. Let us take the ID of y here. ID of y will be taken. So this is the ID of this particular y here. And first and foremost, values address will be this one. So 3384. The last and final thing, that is 3384 will be the so y of 0th locations address this one. Okay. Now you can able to perform or you can able to so what you call replace the values by taking some particular kind of methods. Let me consider here y of 0. For example, y of 0 will be equal to 10. I'd like to change from right away from 10 to some 100. Yes, it could be possible. Y of so 0 will be equal to 100. Yes, it could be changed. Previously, it could not be changed. The object will be same and the value, I mean, the address will be gets changed to some other location. The variable's address will be changed to some other location because they are immutable. Now you could see what are the values of this particular y here. So y values are being changed right away from 10 to 100. It has been changed and remain elements are same. Okay, so that is why it is mutable. You can perform mutation operation. Yes, you can change the values and you can increase the size of the list. You can decrease the size of the list and you can replace the values, and then you can perform any kind of operation. Not exactly this one. Any kind of operation you could perform on the list. So that is why all lists are mutables. Okay, that is what the meaning for mutable here. Let me give you one particular example. So how you could say they are supposed to be replaced. Let us consider. Let me take one particular some C. Z will be equal to some. Let me consider 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on and so forth. These are the elements of Z. Like let us take this particular Z. So these are the elements here. And here I'd like to take into consideration that so here these are the elements. Let me replace these values by taking some kind of small program here. The program could be seems in such a way here like this. For example, some I will be equal to 0 because always it could begin starts with 0 here. While let me change the values, replace the values by taking x power. I mean, let me say z of 0 power 2. I mean 2 square, 3 square, 4 square, 5 square, 6 square, 7 square, something like that. I'd like to perform while so I less than the length of how many number of elements with this particular z, length of z Okay, then I'd like to perform this particular operation here. So z of I will be equal to, so z of I into z of I into, I mean, what do you call exponential of 2 here. Okay, I'd like to perform this particular operation. Then I'd like to increase the value of I by 1 here. Okay, so things that gets over, and then you could observe the values of z at this moment. The value of z will be seems like this here. Previously the values of z will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now you could observe this one. Yes, you could able to perform some kind of operation, something like this. You have been replaced each and every value of that particular z in such a way. Yes, replaceability will be possible here. You can perform this particular replaceability. Okay, so now I'd like to consider one more kind of very important kind of issue here. That is, there is a specific method on so what do you call strings. Let me take into consideration that particular thing here. So for example, st will be equal to, so it is a string which could be seen in such a way that so a list is, for example, this is a list is changeable. That is, it is so that, okay, changeable, so that list will be mutable. Okay, for example, this is the sentence where exactly this is the sentence which could be there with st. For example, if you take st, so that is the output of st here. I'd like to make each and every, let us consider here many number of words are there here. So totally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 words are there here. I'd like to make all these words, all these words as members of one particular list. How could you done that particular thing here in the sense? Let me consider some words. Words will be equal to st dot, the method is split, split. So split will be always taken by default, always taken the blank space as the splitting of each and every word. A will be one particular word here, list will be another word, and then is another word, because in between these two we have a blank space. We have a blank space in between. We have a blank space in between, so that each blank space will be considered as a specific word and could be make one particular list here. Let us take here. So type of st will be a string, where the type of so let us consider words. Words is a list. Right now it is list. So let us consider words. You could see each and every, so the word which is being separated by a blank space will be identified as a separate string and can be made into a particular list here. And can be made into a particular list here. So this is the specialty of this particular method, string method, that is split. By default, it could be take so for splitting each and every word, by default it could be take blank space. If you have anything, yes, you can mention that particular what you call character to make words into a particular sentence here. Okay, something like that you would like to consider here. Split will be always split entire sentence into several number of words based on the blank spaces. Okay, now so here words might have this particular number of characters here. Sorry, this particular number of what you call words are there with you, and I would like to replace all these words with its uppercase. How you could done here? Let us have a look here again. So would like to consider index will be equal to again 0. So index will be equal to 0. Then while index are I less than length of lenf, length of words. So how many number of words are there? It could be taken those many number of. That is the value which is being provided by length here. Afterwards, what exactly we are trying to do? So words of index ex index will be equal to, so words of index, so dot upper. If you want to perform uppercase, yes, you could apply this particular command. So dot upper is a method, so string method which is used to convert all lowercase letters into uppercase letters. Okay, then I have to increase the value index, so plus equal to 1. It could be increased. First word can be taken into A, will be taken into consideration, and it could be converted into uppercase and can be reassigned within the same location. And then list will be taken into consideration, and it will be converted into uppercase and can be stored in the same location. And is will be taken, and it can be converted into uppercase and can be saved in the same location, and so on and so forth. Okay, things will be gets over. Things will be gets over. Now you can see, so words. All words are converted into uppercase letters. So these are the two examples where exactly you have to consider that you can able to replace so that particular list like anything. In all other variables, let me consider scalar variables such as integers, floats, characters, or strings cannot be changed its values. Cannot be changed its values. So here list can be a mutable object. Yes, you can perform all kinds of so operations. You can replace the location value, or you can insert new values, or you can remove so the existing values from the so list here. Let me give you some more examples regarding to so insertions and removal also. So to explain these kind of issues, we'd like to consider these methods. Okay, there are approximately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 methods are there. Totally 12 methods are there. These 12 methods will be explains to you so how the operations could be done within the specific list here. Let us have a look on how this could be done here. Okay, so we'd like to consider. Let me close this. Okay. Before closing, let me copy each and every point because I would like to send this particular thing by using Google Classrooms, and then you could have a look about this. Then you might be yeah, everything has been copied because I'd like to close this one and open one more new one because it would be very easy to understand and easy to identify. So okay, list A will be equal to, for example, uh, uh, so 1 comma 2 comma. So okay, 9 numbers are there. List elements will be equal to this one. Now, first and foremost, kind of method of this list will be so L dot append. How this particular L dot append could be performs here. L dot append, L dot index. I'm sorry, L dot index, list dot index. It is pretty much very important kind of thing here. So it could be always taken into consideration something like this. So L dot index will be always gives you index of that particular element. What is the specific syntax of this particular method is, so list dot index of, you can take element, whatever the element you can consider, and there are two more parameters will be taken by this particular index, that is start comma, otherwise let me consider, yes, start comma end. So start comma end, these two parameters will be optional parameters. These are not mandatory. These are optional parameters. And there are several number of error messages which are associated with the start and end. Let me explain each and every point at this particular moment. So first of all, I'd like to identify the index of 5 here. I'd like to identify index of 5. My list ID name is A dot, so index of 5. My element name is 5. It is situated at, because list will be always get starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 is the specific location where exactly 5 has been stored. Okay. So need to understand one particular point here. If you are supposed to So take the values of start, what exactly it could be means. So a dot index of, for example, so I'd like to consider some 10. Okay, 10 is not exactly available with us in our list. 10 is not there. Then it could be provides one error message. That is one exception which could be throws. That is value error. Value error could be throws you. What is the exception value here is value. The 10 is not in the list. Okay, this is the error message which could be provided when so-called element is not available within the list here. Now let us come across with the start and end. For example, so a dot index of, let me say that is 1, my element is 1, and the starting value will be, starting index element will be, for example, some 3. Okay, so what exactly it could be means, what does it means? So my index element will be 1, afterwards right away from third point onwards or third index onwards, whether one more 1 will be, duplicate of 1 will be available or not. Duplicate right away this particular. So what does it means? Once index value will be, so that is 0, it has been identified, there is no problem at all. Right away from third index onwards, let me say this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So right away from this particular location to this location to this particular location, right away from 4 to 9, whether same 1 can be available or not. At one position you have an element as 1. Okay, let us take it is throws one particular error message. Okay, time being, I'd like to consider another list here, because for explanation point of view, A, then B, then C, because explanation point of view it could be better. Character kind of list is very much better. So let us take this particular thing, D, E, F. Okay, so let us consider this one here right now. Okay, now I'd like to consider B of, let me say some F. Okay, this is the, so sorry, B dot index of, so F here. So I'd like to consider this is the location at fifth location. So because A 1 0 1 2 3 4 5 fifth location, so F has been get stirred. Now what is my intention here? So B dot index of, so for example, A, comma 3. For example, if you consider something like this, what is the index value of A? That is 0. 0 is the index value of A. So at the 0th location of this particular B has been stored A, thus this particular A will be replicated. A will be replicated right away from third location to end of the list. I hope that you understand. So whether A will be replicated, otherwise A will be duplicated, whether A will be gets available after third position to end of the list, whether that can be available, A will be replicated again. So let us see. No, it doesn't available, because it is available at 0th location and nowhere else A will be there. Nowhere else A will be there. For example, let me explain this particular method after some time. So append of, for example, A. Okay, I have appended this particular list. So now let us take the values of the B here. So look at this. A will be the 0th location value. A will be replicated at the end here. At the end here. Now I'd like to operate the same command at one more time. So at the 0th location, A will be available at the 0th location. Yes, it is there. So whether the same value can be replicated or duplicated right away from third location onwards. So let us see whether it is true or not. Yes, it is, because at 7th location you could identify A again. Hope that you understand what I spoke to you. Okay. So whether, so now if you consider now right away you would like to replace with B, and whether it is replicated one more time, no, B is not available right away from third location to end of the list. Right away from third location to end of the list, you could not find the B. So that is the meaning here. Now, so this is the starting position, and this is let us consider one more time this particular thing. So starting position is 2, and ending position is some 6. 2 to 6 in the sense this is 1, this is 2. Sorry, this is 0, 1, this is 2. Okay, C2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up to this location to this location, whether A will be replicated, so that is the meaning of this particular thing. No, it is not replicated. Right away from C2, this location to this location, A has not been replicated. A has not been replicated. So that is why second time so-called A is not identified or is not found in the list, sub list, that is the second location to sixth location. Okay, so that is what about the points which we have to consider in terms of list here. Start and end positions are not that much important. So obviously index will be always returns. So where exactly in which position element was existed. Okay, it could be returns. There are 2 points we need to remember. So returns the index of element in the list. This is one particular point you need to remember here. This is the first point you need to remember. Second point will be if element is not found, will returns so value. There is an exception which could be will be raises and exception value error. So-called value has not been found. Okay, these are the 2 points which we'd like to consider into while we have to discuss something about this index method. Okay, and then followed by second method will be method number 2 will be append. Already we have seen this one append. So append will be always used to, so capital L dot append, always used to append one particular element into the list. Normally, this particular append method will always appends a particular element at the end of the list, not exactly in the middle or beginning of the list. End of the list only it could be appends the so specific thing, and so list dot append of only one parameter will be taken here. Element. Okay, single parameter will be taken, not more than single parameter. If you are supposed to given so more than one parameter, it will be gives you one error message. Okay, let us see. Let us see. I would like to add one more element to B. That is so B dot append of let me say some x. X is my value here. Yes, it could be appended. Now you can see the values of B. Yes, at the end of this particular list, so-called X is being appended here. If you are trying to give something like this, so B dot so append, let me say some Y and followed by comma Z, one more element that is Z, then it could be gives you type error. Type error in the sense append will be always take exactly one parameter, but you have given two. So that is why that is the error message where exactly it could be throws to you or exception will be throws to you, something like this. Okay. So this is what you need to consider in terms of append. Append is always trying to append a single element at the end of the list. Okay, and returns nothing. So it could not be written anything. Previously, index will be written the value of index where exactly the value could be. I mean, the element could be available. So some number could be returns to you where append cannot be so returns anything here. Okay. Then followed by next thing is extend. So if you have another list with you, if you have one more list is there with you, and I would like to append those two into single list. For example, some C will be equal to one more list is there, so that is AB followed by AC. Okay, AC followed by AD. For example, this is my list which is available with me. So these are the elements of C here. Okay, I'd like to add so B, so the C elements into B here. I'd like to append this particular list into B here. So there append cannot be worked out here. Append will be always taken single parameter. So here only element will be taken but not the variable. Okay, element will be taken. That element is either it might be 1 or 2 or x or y or z. All these are elements. So that is not the variable here. So that we'd like to consider. So b dot extend of whatever the variable or list element you have with you, that list element will be specified here so that it could be extended. Now you could take b. So AB, AC, and everything will be gets extended, not appended actually, extended with the existed list here. This is what the extension does means. And extend will be always taken iterable. Iterable in the sense, let me give you what is mean by iterable here. L dot. So iterables will be all can be extended to the list. What are the iterables you would like to consider here? Iterables are either a list, otherwise a tuple, otherwise what is that? Dictionary. Either of these. Otherwise string also. String also. All these things are called as iterables. Why these are called as iterables? In the sense, same kind of item will be replicated for several times. So look at this. This particular list has been taken. This is a character. Character will be repeated for several number of times. This is a character and a string. Characters and strings are repeated for several number of times. Of course, they might be same, might not be same. That doesn't matter. But it has been repeated. So that is why they are called as iterables. In all other languages, they are called as arrays, but here they are called as iterables. Okay, so you can add such kind of, you can append such kind of iterables by using extend. Okay, so that is the point we would like to consider here. It's also not written anything, so it could be changed the size of the existing list to some other extent. Okay, now next method will be insert. Next method will be insert. So what is the importance of this particular insert here is, yes, 538. What exactly the problem with you? You have raised your hand. What do you mean by అర్థం అయ్యే విధంగా చెప్పండి sir? What do you mean by this? I could not understand. What does it mean? సార్ కొంచెం అర్థం అయ్యే విధంగా చెప్పండి సార్. Did you not get this particular point what I am speaking with you? Did you not get the points what I am speaking with you? Say sir, no, Mr. 506. Could not get you, man. What you are not understand? What you are not understand, man? Okay, insert. So if you are not supposed to get the points, you have to go through this particular video one more time. So I will forward this particular video immediately after completion of this class. Okay, insert. You can able to insert this particular one particular element into your list. How this could be done? Let us have a look here. Okay, insert in the sense. So insert will be always taken two parameters. L dot insert of the element followed by, sorry, first one is the index followed by element. So at what index you are supposed to replace with your element here. For example, so let us take t dot insert at for example at second location. I'd like to insert some ABC. This is my element where exactly I'd like to insert here. Okay, Now take the B. You could see second location in the sense this is 0, this is 1, and this is 2. At second location, yes, ABC will be inserted here. ABC will be inserted here. Okay. So likewise, you could insert at any point. You could insert here. For example, if you are supposed to insert an element with the out of boundaries of one particular location, how many? What is the length of this particular B here? So len of B. How many number of elements are there? Totally 13 elements are there. 13 in the sense right away from it could be starts with 0 and ends with 13. So totally 14 elements are there with B. For example, B dot insert of, let me say, some 19. 19 is the 19 is not available with my list here. The location 19 is not available with my, the index 19 is not available with my list here, comma, for example, x y z. This is the element I would like to insert it out there. Now it could be as and when you have to take out of the boundaries of your index, then it could be added at the end. Okay, so totally 13 elements are there. Last and final, so index of this particular B will be 13. This is the B will be 13. So if you are supposed to give the index value more than 13, if you are supposed to give the index value more than 13, then it will be add or it will be insert whatever the element you are requested, that element will be inserted at last. Let us see. Let us see. Take the values of B here. Yes, it could be taken something like this. Now, let us take length of B. Length of B. 14 elements are there. 14 index elements are there here. 14 index elements are there here. Now, what is your final index? The index will be 14. If I would give something like this, some index value as 19 and PQR is the new element which I would like to store, but 19th index is not available with my total index, total list of elements of B here. Now at this moment, it could be add this PQR at the end. Okay, look at this. It has been added. So the PQR element at the end. Look at this at the end. It could not be provide any error message for you. Okay, so this is the specific point you need to understand. If index is out of boundaries, the element will be inserted at the end. If index is within the boundaries, so at the so-called location, the value is going to be inserted. Okay, look at that. Then followed by next one is pop. Next one is pop. So pop in the sense already, I believe that you people have learned something about stacks in your data structures. Pop is always trying to remove one element from the list. Most probable element which is being removed from the stack is top element. Whatever the top element which is going to be removed, available at the stack, that is going to be removed from the stack here. Here also, the list.pop also be perform the same operation. What is the specific operation which could be performed here is, so B dot POP, B dot pop. Okay. So the last and final element which is available within the list will be PQR. PQR will be popped up. Otherwise removed. Now you can take B. You can take B here. Now the PQR can be removed here. Now let me remove the element. Suppose ABC here. I'd like to remove this particular location, this particular ABC here. So one more pop is available here. Pop of index. One more pop of pop kind of element is there here. That is pop of index. ABC is available at 0, 1, 2. Second location, at second location, ABC is available. So that B dot POP of 2. If I would like to remove this one, yes, obviously ABC will be gets removed. Now let us take B. So you could not find at second location, you could not find ABC here instead. So you have C here. So now let me take LEN of B. So two elements have been removed. Previously, so it is 15 elements. Now two elements have been removed. Totally 13 elements are available with me. Okay, plus one, 14 elements are available with me. Okay, that is what about pop and pop index. Okay, by default, if you are not supposed to provide this index here, by default, if you are not supposed to provide this index here, default index will be -1. What do you mean by -1? At the end. -1 will be always at the end, while we have to remove any element by using pop here. And then remove. What exactly the removes will be? Removes will be, if you are supposed to give, the removes will be always removes the element which is matched by giving off this remove. Let me give you the syntax here. L dot remove of element. If element, so okay. If this particular element will be gets identified, automatically deleted or removes. If this element is not identified, so element error or exception will be throws to you. Let me show you. Let me show you. So b dot, my list element is b dot remove. So what is I would like to remove here is, so x y y z x y z. I'd like to remove this particular element here. Yes, it is removed. Now let us take the values here. So totally one element has been removed here. For example, b dot remove. For example, so PQR. This PQR is not really available with this particular list here, so that it will be provided value error. So value error, it could be throw an exception, that is value error. So states that so-called element x is not found. Whatever the element you have been passed, that will be considered as x. X is not available within the list here. So that it could be removes one particular element if it does existed. So if the element is not existed, obviously it could be throw an exception, that is value error. Okay. Then followed by count. Count in the sense, so already one method is there with us, that is length. Len of a will be, sorry, b will be always give you how many number of elements are there with you. Number of elements are, so totally 12 plus 1, that is 13 elements are there with us. 13 elements are there with me, because index value will be always get starts with 0. So that is why 13 elements are there with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, 12 elements are there with me. So totally with my the list element, that is B. Now what is the importance of count here? Count in the sense, if you consider, count will be gets operated something like this. So L dot count of element. So if this particular element will be existed, how many times it has been replicated? That element will be replicated for number of times. How many times it has been replicated? For example, so b dot count. So for example, a will be replicated for twice. A will be replicated for twice here. Look at this. This is first occurrence, and this is the second occurrence. So this output will be 2. Whereas, so b dot, for example, some c, element c, only one time it is existed. So for example, so some CD, okay, for example, CD doesn't exist, or doesn't process by the list element, that is B, so that it could be returns 0. Okay, it could be always returns a number. That number will be always taken something like this. So if so-called element will be replicated for several number of times, how many number of times that element will be replicated, that number will be displaced when count will be gets operated by you. Okay. Then next thing is, so reverse. So your list will be gets reversed based on the elements here. Okay, let me gets operated here. Let me gets operate something like this here. It could not be taken any parameters here. B dot reverse. Okay, now you can see B. Okay, so it could be gets reverse the entire whatever the list you have been provided while it is being created, that could be immediately so reverse or something like this. Okay, reverse or something like this. Physically it could be reverse. Right now, previously before operating this particular reverse method, so right b of 0 will be a, b of 1 is b, and so on. But right now after reversing, the last element will be becomes first, and the last but one will be second, and so on and so forth. Okay, so in this way, the reverse operation is going to be taken into consideration. Then b dot sort, I mean list dot sort. Okay, next operation will be sort operation. It could be done either in ascending order or in a descending order. Ascending order or descending order. Let me give you L dot SORT of there is one particular parameter which could be taken. The parameter is reverse equal to TRUE, true. Reverse in the sense descending order. By default, it could be provided ascending order. Default one is ascending order. So for ascending order, nothing has been operated. This for descending order, so you have to take one particular parameter here. That parameter is REVERSE equal to TRUE. This parameter will be taken while you have to operate sort operation here. Okay, only one parameter will be taken, that is reverse equal to true here. Okay, let us see. Let us see what exactly could be taken into consideration. Yes, one more list is there with us. That is number list is there with us. That is A here. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Because sorting operation is very much easy when you have integers with you. So look at this. So A dot SORT. So nothing will happen because already they are in sorted order. So A will be provided already they are in sorted order. Let me say one more element, that is C will be equal to 1. So 9, 2, 8, 3, 7, 4, 6, 5. For example, we'd like to take this particular list of elements. C will be equal to 1, 9, 2, 8, 3, 7, 4, 4, 6, 5. Now C dot SORT, for example. Now let us take C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Everything will be get sorted. Now the same list of elements will be sorted in reverse order, descending order. How it could be? C dot SORT of REVERSE will be equal to true. Will be equal to true. Let us take this particular kind. Now you can see 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In reverse order, everything has been sorted. Okay. And then one more point I would like to mention here, one more method, that is copy. That is copy here. Copy in the sense, there are two ways to be done by the copy. Number one way will be, first way will be, for example, there is a list that is list 1 is there with me, list 2 also is there with me. List 1 does have these elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements are there. So, okay, list 2 is not there. For example, if I would perform by using equal sign, that is, so list 2 will be equal to, so list 1, list 1. If I would take something like this, then what actually will happen, same address will be identified by list 2 also. So, okay, let me show you by taking this thing here. For example, list 1 will be equal to 1, 2, 3. Only 3 elements will be taken. ID of list 1, look at this. So 0792, that is the address. Now, list 2 will be equal to list 1. For example, if I take something like this, then ID of list 2 will be, same address will be taken. There is no difference at all. There is no difference at all. Same address will be taken. If any modification will be done by list 1, that will be automatically reflected in list 2. Let us consider, so list 1 dot append append of, for example, some 100. At the end, it is going to be appended. Let us take list 1. Let us take list 2 also. Both will be affected because both will be identified the same location. Now, my requirement is, I'd like to copy the list 1 to another location, not exactly with the same location, another location. Then you have to go ahead with list 3 will be equal to list 1.copy, copy. Okay, now list 3, look at this. and then ID of list 1, list 1 ID is this one. ID of list 3 will be, look at this. This is one location, this is another location. Both are not same. Both are not in the same location. So if you would append, sorry, list 1.abbend, append of some 400, let me add or append this particular element to list 1. Yes, list 1 will be. Now, if you take list 3, it could not be reflected here because both are not in the same locations. They will be in different locations. But you could consider list 2. List 2 and list 1 will be identified the same location, will be affected. List 1 and list 2 will be affected because they are sharing the same location. But list 3 has been created with a separate location. So therefore, if any modifications will be happen at list 1, they could not be reflected at list 3. Okay. Copy will be, list dot copy will be always creates one more separate list at a separate location. That is the meaning of list dot copy here. And last and final method, that method is the list dot clear. Everything will be gets cleared from the, removes all elements from the, so list here. So list 2 dot clear. If you take this one, obviously list 2, nothing is there. Of course, list 1 it can also be nothing because both are identifying the same location. List 3, for example, yes, some elements are there. List 3 dot clear, nothing is there with you right now. List 3, it's also empty list. Okay, so these are the different kinds of methods which are useful to you. Index will be always gives you the particular element where exactly it could be identified or where exactly it could be stored within the list. Appends a new element at the end of the list. So any iterable list, any list or any other, tuples or strings will be appended with the existing list, and then so at a particular index, so element will be gets inserted, and the last element will be popped up, removed. At a particular location, element will be popped up or removed. So L dot remove in the sense if any element will be L dot remove will be taken. L dot remove list dot remove of element. If element is existed, that could be removed. Otherwise, it could be provided value error. So whether same element will be replicated for several number of times or not, and reverse of the given list, sort the given list. When sorting, so for descending order, you are expected to take so reverse equal to true, that could be taken into consideration, and make another copy of the same list, and then clear the complete list of elements. These are different kinds of methods which are available with us while speaking something about lists. Of course, one more concept is left over here, that is list comprehension. Let me consider this list comprehension by tomorrow, and we'll complete the dictionaries also by tomorrow. Okay, this is what the class today. So if you are